Hey, man, what time it is, man? Hey, relentless. Hey, relentless. Hey.
Welcome to the Cole and Dre podcast. I'm Cole.
And this is Dre. What up, world? We back in the building with a very, very special guest.
We got Miss Kathy Buckler. I'm sorry, y'all know our producer over here, man. I'm not going to even go in there. We're just going to get right into it. We got some great information today on life insurance. And we've got Miss Kathy Buckler here to speak with us from People Helping People. And we're going to kind of just dive into the benefits of having life insurance, which is obvious. We're all going to die.
Obvious.
You know, that's it's 100% like. I had this thing before I get to you, right?
Okay.
I had this thing. I say, you know, I haven't voted in a while, but I tell people I'm gonna vote for whoever tells me they can do something about death. I don't care if they Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever you are. If you can do something about death, you my candidate.
Okay.
We'll live through the hell and we'll figure it out. But welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So we're gonna let you introduce yourself and, you know, tell us a little bit about life insurance and kind of we'll go through what's the difference between term, whole life, and different policies. So
Absolutely.
thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me today. It's really nice to be here, and it's really, really a good idea. And I'm blessed and thankful that we can talk about this subject, because so many people need to know and be educated about this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my name is Kathy Buckler. I am a retired Houston police officer. I was a police officer for 26 years with the city of Houston. And during that time, I did a whole lot of things, right? Saw a whole lot of things. But after about my 18th year, I was ready to do something different.
Okay.
And something different to me meant being outside of that uniform, out of the vest, out of the boots, being happy all the time. So I was looking for something to do. Somebody introduced the life insurance company to me. And with that, I found out that this was a way that I could help educate a lot of people in our community, because some people just don't know. So by educating them, you know, it's bringing joy to me when they hear that, when they say, I didn't know that. Right? That's joy to me. So I've been in business now for myself since 2018. I started in 2018. In 2019, about 8 months later, I turned in my paperwork to retire.
Okay. Well,
So
congratulations.
this is what I'm very passionate about, and thank you. And this is something I'm going to be doing for a long time.
Where does that passion come from?
Just helping. My gift is helping people.
Okay.
My God-given gift is helping people, right? Even when I was on patrol, I helped people. Right? They were not always happy with the results.
So you weren't
but
the
it's
bad
okay.
popo?
No, well,
Popo.
sometimes I was a bad popo.
She said they weren't always happy.
They were always happy, right? Many of the people that if I took them to jail, honestly speaking, right?
Right.
If I took them to jail, they said, when I handed them to the jailer, they said, "Thank you, officer."
I don't know what
'Cause
kind of people you
We,
taking.
we had that conversation in the back seat. Sometimes I had to stop the patrol car. I had to get out because they were talking trash in the back seat, and get out. Right? I shouldn't be telling y'all this.
Right, 'cause you weren't supposed to do that.
No.
You might. You
All right, we're
retired
gonna
now?
keep pushing.
Hold on. She
Yeah.
retired now. What you talking about? I don't know. You retired now.
Well, you know, you talk a lot of trash in the back seat. Oh, you're black. You just got your degree from college. That's the only reason why they got you here. Okay. Well, let me show you something. Stop the car. Put it in park. I'm gonna take my Sam Brown off. Okay, and I'm telling him. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm gonna take my Sam Brown off. When I take my Sam Brown off, I'm gonna go to your side and get you out the car. I'm gonna take you out of that belt. Because we have to seat them in, belt seat them in, right? I'm gonna take you out of that belt, and then, you know, whatever happens, happens. But I'm gonna tell you, I do have people that will be here in a couple of minutes, right? And you're not gonna leave here unscathed, I should say.
Oh, well,
Okay.
I tell you what I didn't hear you say. I didn't hear you say, and I'm gonna take those handcuffs off.
Well, that is what happened,
Oh, okay.
but I'm not supposed to say that.
Oh,
Okay.
damn.
Okay.
We're gonna get back to life insurance.
That was a while back, y'all. That was a while back. That was a while
I'm
back.
trying to think.
Yeah.
Are you okay? I gotta make sure, because we have a policy where we gotta make sure we don't ever allow our guests to put themselves in compromising positions. You know?
No, I'm okay. It's
Okay,
all
I just
good.
want to make sure because you
It's
know
all
the
good.
law better than we do.
It's all good.
All right,
It's
so
all
we're
good.
gonna jump into this life insurance
Yeah.
thing because you're scaring me now.
Yeah, shout out to whoever been on that car ride.
Yeah, and shout out to whoever said, "Thank you, officer, for taking me to
Right.
jail today."
Right.
This was so nice of you.
We had a good conversation.
This was such a great experience.
We had a good conversation.
Yeah. So let's jump into this life. And let's go ahead and be informative to our guests.
Let's talk life.
Let's
So-
talk life.
I mean, I know there are two main terms of life insurance, which is whole life and term. Whole and term. Is there something else that I'm missing here?
No, that's basically it. There's we say there's 3 types.
Okay.
Right. So there's a term policy
Okay.
with the company that I'm with and the products that I can help families with. Right. Because I work with over 15 carriers right now.
Okay.
And out of those 15 carriers, our company was just purchased by a company called Integrity Marketing Group. Integrity Marketing Group. They have over 400 carriers in their company.
Okay.
Okay, but we specifically work with about 15. Right. So in those 15, I specialize in maybe about 5 or 6 of them.
Okay.
Most of them, there's either a term policy. Term policy means there's a beginning and an end. Maximum amount of time is 30 years. The older you get, the lower it becomes. Maybe someone that's 50 years old can only get a 20-year policy. Okay, if you're 20 years old, you can get a 30-year policy. If you're 60 years old, you can only get a 20-year policy.
Right.
Okay, maybe something like that, or maybe even a 10-year policy.
Yeah, I think I was 40 trying to get a 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it works like that. But there's something called term. There's something called ROP, which is return of premium. Very similar to a term. The only difference is you get what you put into it all back at the end of that period.
Well, I didn't know about that one when I got my
I
term.
need to learn that one.
Yeah, so let's
Yes,
talk about that
yes.
before we get into what you
Okay.
really. So explain.
That's 2. And then the third one is called a permanent. So permanent incorporates IUL, Index Universal Life. We'll probably talk about that a little later.
Okay.
It also includes the whole life because they're permanent. They don't expire till you're 100, 120 years old.
Okay.
So now let's go back to ROP.
You say they don't expire until you're 120 years old?
100, 120 years old, depending on
Okay.
which company.
Okay.
That's
but
cold.
I
You
don't-
live to be 120 years old and you just die. You ain't got no life insurance.
No
You
life
end it.
insurance.
That's cold.
I have no idea what happens when
But
you
at
get
that
to age
point, put me in the
120.
box.
Yeah, all the people you know and love probably gone.
Yeah, they
anyway,
probably
yeah.
gone. Ain't nobody coming.
Anyway, we're
Yeah.
gonna get back to
Yeah.
that.
So, what? ROP?
ROP, right.
ROP, okay.
Return of premium.
Return of premium, correct. So, same as a term. Exact same thing as a term. The only difference with it is that there are times when you can actually get your money back maybe at a 15-year period or at a 25-year period. You can opt to get your money back then, a portion of it, or you can go throughout the lifetime of that ROP, which is about 30 years. And you may say maybe your health has changed and you decide, no, I need to keep this policy. My health has changed. If I try to get another life insurance policy, I'm going to be denied. Maybe, cancer, heart attacks, or anything that may have happened health-wise, right? And you decide, I want to just keep this policy for the remainder of my life. You can do that.
Okay.
Or you can say at the end of those 30 years, give me all the money back that I, not including interest or anything like that, but give me everything back that I paid into that policy. When you receive that back, you no longer have a life insurance policy, but you have some additional income for possibly if you need another life insurance policy.
That's
and
what
if
I
you
need.
qualify for it.
I need my bankroll back.
Yeah.
Because I had insurance for a long time and they dropped me, so I need my money back.
Yeah. Yes.
So
I need
let's
that
talk.
back.
Let's
it's
talk
very,
about that.
it's very
Drake.
beneficial.
Yeah, I need
Because
that back.
mine's expired in 2015. I had a 10-year term. and you say they terminated yours because you were in prison.
They
Dre
discovered
and
I
I
was
met in
prison.
prison.
Yeah, we met.
Okay.
So
Okay.
They discovered I was in prison, and I was deemed a high risk by being in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And they got me right before I was about to come out. And since I've been home, I've been trying to get coverage. And they always, one company said I was a high risk because I was still on probation. So I'm going to reapply now that I'm on probation. So hopefully somebody picks me up.
Yeah. So many times if it's someone that's been in prison before, or just recently gotten out or anything like that, it's typically 5 or 10 years before you can get a life insurance policy.
Because I almost lied on my policy, but I ain't want to lie, then they still take my money. So I
Right.
try to keep it honest, and they just
they gonna
Yeah,
check.
yeah,
They
no.
pretty thorough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, I lied
thorough.
on one.
Yeah.
They check. They pretty thorough.
Yeah. Because
And they ain't giving you your money back.
because I have no
And
health
when-
issues or anything like that. Not that I know it, thank God. But
right.
you know, for the most part, I've been pretty healthy my whole life. Like you know, so I was just curious as to what kind of steps can I take by being an ex-con and trying to get life insurance.
Yeah. And the downside of that is that there won't be anything
Right.
for depending on which company, 5 or 10 years.
That's so
afterwards.
crazy.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
And that's crazy. I'm sorry, but we were speaking
sure.
off air, and if you do the numbers, and the numbers are crazy, because I'm a real numbers guy. I like to play with the numbers on everything. You're more likely to be killed in society than you are in jail. Go run the numbers.
Right.
This
right.
is the numbers ain't gonna.
Well,
lie.
and when you think about it, I mean, just think about it. How many people die in a car accident every single day?
Yeah, that's absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's just car accident.
Yeah.
That's not suicide. That's not anything else.
Right.
That's
It's
just
not
car
somebody
that's
coming
real.
up to the
It's
gas
real.
station like they
Yeah.
did the dudes and just they probably did something, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
You seen that?
Which I'm.
Oh no.
The guys on the news. The dude was at the gas station. They jumped out with the AKs and
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
yeah, they just
Ah.
let him have it. They didn't have
Oh.
a
That
chance.
was here.
Yeah, that was here.
Oh, I ain't see that.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't one of them dudes. I'm I'm retired.
me too.
Nobody should be jumping out at the gas station.
Real.
You know, life insurance is tricky, man. I was a little disappointed
Yeah.
with my company because I had been with them for, oh man, let's see, 05, almost 20 years. By the time that they dropped me, I've been with them almost 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so that little money was just down the drain for nothing, finito, poof, vanished.
Well, it could have happened.
And-
I mean, what happened if something would happen? You had life insurance.
What you mean?
If
You know,
so-
well, I'm just saying, but I mean, you know, nothing didn't happen and they won.
It's kind of like car insurance. I ain't
Yeah.
had a wreck, but I keep paying them every month. Well, I pay them 6 months at a time.
I'm glad
That's
you
what
said
it
that. Oh,
So-
sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Transition, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Because
glad-
I think insurance companies, they are the big. I need an insurance company. They are the biggest ripoffs.
Say it.
Biggest
Say it.
ripoffs I've
Say
ever
it.
seen. Because I'm paying you X
Say it.
amount of dollars every month for nothing. If nothing happens, ain't no kickback, ain't no reimbursement, ain't no nothing. And by law, I gotta
Yep.
have it.
Yep.
I don't like that.
Well, it's not necessarily by law. Are you talking about the car?
Auto insurance, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
by
yeah.
law.
Car. Yeah, by cars. But then your body, yourself, your family,
Yeah.
right?
Why shouldn't
For
you have
life
by
insurance.
law by life insurance?
Yeah.
How can they do that with a car, but not
not-
with life insurance?
Mm-hmm. And you're right about the life insurance companies, right? With a term policies are very beneficial. Term policies are beneficial not just for young people. The younger you are, 18 and over, you can get a policy for a little bit of money, but it's like, you know, you could get $500,000, you can get $300,000-$400,000. Okay, great, but the and I'll tell you more about that as well. What you can do if you've had it for a while, but life insurance, if you term policies, on average, do not pay out. When they don't pay out, that's when the money goes back to the life insurance carrier. That's how they make a lot of their money. Because most of the time, you have your policy for 15 years, a term, and you live 20 years after that, right? So that means all that money, yes, you were given back to the life insurance. The life insurance keeps it all, right? But if something would have happened, you were covered. Does that make sense?
No, I agree.
No, it doesn't make sense to me. It sounds like a Ponzi scheme to me. What other business can I go into and say, you know what? Give me all your money. If something happen, I got you. But don't nothing happen, I'm gonna keep the money. Tell me what other business can you do that in? Like so, it doesn't. So no.
An employer, and so I mean, because even when the employer, as you're employed, You're paying whatever, $12, $15, $20 a month, all right? While you're there, you're covered with life insurance, all right, while you're there. But when you retire, they're going to tell you, oh, do you want to keep this? Like they did with me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to keep this? I'm like, sure. How much does it cost to keep? Oh, about $600 now. No, I'm not paying $600 a month for a life insurance policy that I had for 26 years, paying about $20 a month. To me, that doesn't make sense.
No, that don't. Make sense.
Does that make sense? No,
No, that don't make
that
sense.
don't make sense. But people that have life insurance at their job, what does it cover? Does it really cover you when you're during Christmas time or whatever time it may be? You're fixing something in your house, trimming the trees, and you fall off the ladder. Does your life insurance from your job really cover you for that? Many times,
I would think so. I
life insurance, not the health, but life insurance. You fall off the ladder, you pass away. Many times it does not.
At work?
From work. If you're at home, you have life insurance at the job.
See, everything is a catch-22. You got to read
You got
the
life
fine
insurance at
print.
the job.
You got to
right?
read the fine print. They trying to stick you.
You got life insurance at the job. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I got life insurance. I'm covered, Cat. I got life insurance. I'm good to go. Okay, so if you fall off that ladder at the house, you break your leg, or you get a concussion and you're in the hospital. Next thing you know, you pass away. Is that life insurance from your job going to cover you? Okay, the only way to find out, you go to HR. Ask them, how much will this life insurance cover me? What will my wife or my husband or my beneficiary receive if I pass away? And it's not while I'm at the job. Am I making sense?
No, I'm
Yes,
not catching
I
them.
get it.
problems.
100%.
Making sense?
I think that's things that people don't think of until a situation like that happens, and then people feel like they've been taken advantage of because you're like, well, I had life insurance. I can't believe. So your spouse is sitting there saying, well, they don't understand. How is this possible? But we didn't read the fine print. And I give you something, and I hadn't read it all the way, but I was looking at something, and it was an email that I don't even remember who sent it to me about TikTok and all of the things that people don't realize, that the access that you're giving these social media platforms when you join. And it was amazing how much information TikTok, probably all of them, take on you. And I was like, wow. And you don't realize that because you join so quickly. No big deal. You don't read those 30 pages.
Right.
So it's kind of like that, I would assume, on a life insurance policy.
Right. When you're employed, and you're starting your job, right? Hey, sign this paper, pass it to the right. Okay. When I was a cadet with about 72 other cadets in the police academy, sign this paper. This is your life insurance. It says this. Okay, 2-3 times your annual income. Okay, sign it, pass it to the right. You don't go back and look at that. You don't, on average, people don't go back and look at it, right, to see what it really states. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a conversation with a professor about 2 weeks ago. Well, it's been longer, probably a month ago or so we started the conversation, talking about this life insurance. It goes from me speaking what I just told you guys about, check with your HR. He's married, he goes to his HR and Human Resources Department and finds out, okay, if I were to pass away, how much will my wife get? Then the next time I met with him, which was about 2 weeks ago, he says, you know what, Kathy, I checked that out. My wife would only get $5,000 if I passed away today.
Why is that? What was his policy worth?
It's the type of policy that he had.
Well, how much did he think he was going to get?
Yeah, what
How much did he think his wife was going to get?
Well, he thought she was going to get at least, maybe $50,000. Yeah.
He did that on purpose.
So-
He wanted to have much.
Oh, don't say that.
Is that what as you drink? I got one of my good friends.
take
He
it with
say,
me.
Don't say
he
that.
say he don't have life insurance because if he don't want nobody, he don't want to help his wife if something happened to him. He said, I'm not gonna help her be with another dude. It's like,
And you know
my kid's grown now, so why would I help her?
And you know,
I was
But that's
like,
questions in the black families that people ask. So just
That's-
curious,
that
what would you
is-
say to that?
that's
that is-
horrible.
okay,
It's horrible,
And
but
it-
it's you know.
it's real,
Yeah.
yeah, because those are really what we receive, those types of comments back or answers back. So it's not just for when you pass away. Life insurance is life when you're living right now. Critical, chronic, and terminal illness.
Okay.
All right. So most of the policies, including a term policy, they have those benefits. If you are unable to go to the restroom on your own, if you're unable to, take a shower on your own, move from the bed to the couch, things like that. You have a heart attack, a stroke, cancer. You can utilize the death benefit, funds in the death benefit, to pay for medical expenses while you're still living right now.
Yeah, I don't
Not
think a lot of
not
people
when
know
you're
that.
alive. Say it again.
I don't think a lot of people know that.
They don't.
Well, I think
'Cause
it's
I didn't
also
know that.
the
They
term. I think it's the type of
Yes.
policy you have, though.
Yeah, what type of
Is
policy
that
you do
correct?
have?
Well, depends on what company,
Okay.
really, because every company that I work with, we carry living benefits
Is that an extra fee per month, or is it just something included in what you
In-
sign up for in the beginning?
included.
Okay.
Yeah. So you take a portion of percentage of your death benefit and pay for medical expenses while you're still alive.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Is that kind of like the little duck?
Aflac.
Aflac.
Aflac owe me some money because I broke my finger and had a car wreck years ago. They ain't pay me. Nah, because I went to emergency room area. They supposed to cut me a check. I need to get my Aflac. Aflac, y'all owe me. Since the 90s.
Aflac. Yeah, supplemental.
Yeah, that's something different.
Yeah. It's
So,
definitely
so what
supplemental.
products can be used as supplemental insurance for retirement purposes, or for say, I guess the word would be I'm saying retirement, but health benefits. So what type of policy is that?
So health benefits, health and life, two different things.
Okay.
All right. So the health benefit part is going to be, strictly going to the doctor, getting your checkups, that type of thing.
Okay.
Life is let's start building a legacy for our families.
Okay.
That's what life insurance should be about. Life insurance should be about, not about, hey, somebody passes away, Nana or grandpa passes away, everybody, or cousin or brother, whatever, everybody put in $20. Everybody, I'm doing the barbecue plates, the T-shirts, the GoFundMe, just to pay for the service.
Yeah, we got to avoid that. We have to avoid that. Because that makes me scratch my head every time I see it.
Every
And a
single
lot
time.
of times I've seen guys who are really well-to-do in a sense
Right.
that their family is asking them to help being buried when it's that time,
Yeah.
and so that's
I'm tired of chipping in on Pookie funeral and Pookie wake and Pookie.
Yeah.
I'm tired of doing
Yes. And many times all that's needed is maybe a term policy. Maybe somebody doesn't have, maybe you have $50, okay? Because, many people go out to the club every weekend or every other weekend, spend $100, $200. I'm keeping it low, spending $100, on a weekend.
Right.
So what if you put $50? What if you put $150 in a life insurance policy, right? And you're paying that every month, not every weekend, but every month. When you pass away, now you're starting to build a legacy for your family.
Right.
Why? Because that policy that you paid, maybe it's $50,000, maybe it's $100,000, maybe it's $500,000 or $1 million in coverage. So now when you pass away, your family has this to bury you, to pay off the house, to pay off the car, excuse me, for the kids to still go to the same school, or now they can go to a better school even. It makes a difference. People don't know that. Why are we allowing people, not allowing, but why are people paying, not paying into a life insurance policy, but they're paying into everything else? A life insurance policy is for your life while you're living now, and it starts building legacies for your family. White folks do this all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
They sit at the dinner table, and talk about life insurance.
It's my grandmother is sick right now, right? And I had to really convince her. House is paid for. I had to really sit down over 3 to 6 months, probably almost closer to 6 months, and convince her you have to appoint someone in your will. Whose house is this? Well, it's just gonna be all their house. All my kids. No, you can't do that. And even my other grandmother that passed, we had to do this, and it's like she in her mind and a lot of these people's mind. Well, I ain't here to work it out. But I buy probate deals, and I've gotten people out of probate, and I've really made some good money on these things where I shouldn't have been the one making that money. That should have been a legacy that was passed down. But they're not making these decisions, so I don't know. I get that's so mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
But I think this is. I don't know if this is the first generation. We're probably the second generation to really start owning our own home at a rapid pace. So. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. But anyway, my question, the reason I'm making that statement, I guess we collectively, how do we get past that?
Education. We have to be educated. We need to educate more people about life insurance, about the benefits of life insurance. That's the only way. Talking about it more. For example, there are certain days that we have orientations at my office. Okay, so my office is on the top floor of the Galleria.
Okay.
Okay.
Top floor at the Galleria. Okay.
Yes.
Got to be a nice office.
Yes.
Ballin'.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
So every so often, and I like that too. But every so often, we have a special meeting. It's called a business orientation meeting. We talk about life insurance, those 3 products we talked about, term, ROP, and permanent. We talk about the benefits of it, but we also talk about annuities, which is a retirement product. Okay, maybe that's something we'll also get into, dealing with 401ks, 457s, things like that, and protecting that money.
Hold on, let's go back. What's a 457? I have a hard time not asking the question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So basically, those numbers are tax codes.
Right. Okay.
401k, 403b,
Okay.
So 457 is what a city employee.
Okay, I've never
Would
heard
receive.
of that. When I heard the 401k,
Because
I
you
heard
ain't
the
no city
403.
employee, bro.
Right. You got that.
You're
Right.
an independent contractor, bro. You ain't no city employee,
So
bro.
I tell you what, since you shooting shots over here, who are you talking to the whole program?
Huh?
Go ahead. Miss. Shout out, Ash. You've been on the phone all the time. Yep, you do it to me.
This ain't my day job.
Go ahead, though.
It's my night job.
But
I need that top floor at the Galleria, though.
come on.
Yeah, see, okay.
So, but we have business orientations over there. It's invite only. So I would need to, extend the invitation. You'd call me. Hey.
Are we invited?
Yes, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
There you go.
Let me know what day you want to come.
He mentors kids, so I think it'd be a great opportunity if we can set something up where we can bring, whether it be some kids and some of the lower income people in for a
The people that need life
And we can-
insurance.
Yeah, and we can have, if it's a special meeting, we can set up a special meeting for everybody.
okay.
Right? If we need another facility, we can do another facility that's larger. But the main thing is to educate people because they don't know. People just don't know. So and they think that just that what they get at the job is enough
Right.
for them.
So, would you say on average, what would a I guess what we say a term life?
Term-
On average, what would a term life cost somebody as a I guess what would you say somebody in good health, younger age, middle age, I guess, say 25, 30. What a policy like that cost like on average?
That could be depending on the coverage. So, and we could run it one of 2 ways. One, we could run it, okay, what are you comfortable paying each month without taking food off the table? What are you comfortable paying each month? Okay, yeah. I can pay $100. I can pay $50. I can pay $45. That's a term, right? The coverage amount may, because you get a lot of coverage for a lower number with the term. Okay, so that coverage could be, I don't know, it could depending on the age. If they're in their 30s, maybe 100,000, 400,000, 500,000. It depends on which company.
Okay.
Okay. And remember, that's not the type of policy that you can borrow from. That's just strictly life insurance. If something happens, you're covered with the life insurance. If you pass away, your family gets the benefit.
Right.
Right? So it could be 30, 40, 50. There's people, I just ran a quote the other day. I think this young man was about 25, 26 years old. He could get a 30-year policy for about $28 a month.
So my next question is, do you have to be a family member to put a policy on somebody? How does that work?
To put a policy on someone?
Right. Great question.
What do you mean?
So
Be
he's
more
hold
specific.
on. Go ahead.
Because I got some knuckleheads. I know I wouldn't mind putting life insurance policy. I'm just so they can have it.
Okay. If they're adult,
They're adults.
if they're 18 or over, they have to be consenting to it because they have to sign.
Okay.
But you could be the payer of
Okay.
it
And the beneficiary.
and the beneficiary of it. If you're paying it, be the beneficiary.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I got
Yes.
some kids, they living kind of hard, man. So I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. And I it's time.
I'm tired of seeing the plates. I'm tired of seeing the
It's time.
fish plates, barbecue,
Yeah, I'm tired
Because
of
when
seeing
someone puts
signs on the corner.
and when someone puts money in the plate about how much they put in,
$3,
like
$4, $5.
$3, $4, sometimes it's $20.
I donate $100.
Yeah,
That's
See?
my limit.
Put
Here you go.
Right?
I've done a couple. I've done
Right.
500.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's just,
People buy T-shirts. T-shirts are like $15.
Well, as blacks, we got to get away from that because our community is
Yes.
affected the most by senseless violence, and we be the main ones, trying to have these extravagant funerals with no money.
Yes, no money.
Because burn me up, I don't need all that. Put a picture of me, a cool picture up, and let me.
I want to be buried with the tree, under the tree. You know the
Wanna be honest,
trees?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I wanna
burn me,
be
put me some ashes, and
I don't want to be
wanna be
buried
the
at all.
roots
What is wrong
with
with
the
you?
tree? The roots with the tree. Yeah. Yeah. I think
I don't live forever. I'm like the dude on Cooley High. When he say, son, what is it? What do you want? He say, I want to live forever. You know what I'm talking about? I want to live forever, man.
Yeah, but
So-
life insurance is tough to talk about. It's tough to talk because people don't want to talk about it.
So not to get off subject, but
Sure.
what about these life insurance that you can invest in? Like you can take them and invest, like what? Because that's kind of what I was doing. In my life insurance part, they took it and invested in Fortune 500 companies or whatever. So, like, what type of policy is that? A whole life? Is it whole life or no? What is that you can
Right.
invest? Whole life? Okay.
They can
Because
either
that's
be,
most of what I had. I think I had whole life. Yeah.
it's a permanent policy,
Yeah.
which means it lasts for 100 years or 120 years, right?
Right.
But it could be whole life or it could be IUL, indexed universal life policy. Right, so there's two.
Because I want to make some money out of me.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's
it's,
what I need to learn.
And it's invested. It's invested in sometimes S&P, maybe Barclays, one of those types of growth income growths. But the benefit of those is that you'll never lose any money.
Right.
But at the same time, your money grows compound interest annually.
Right.
You have to.
See, that's what we had. We had that, and they snatched our stuff away from us.
So, you know what? I
We
think that's
had
where we
that.
can bring Chris on.
Yes.
And kind of let Chris come in and talk about, life insurance is more of an investment vehicle. And
Yes.
how do you make the life insurance policy work for you? So, Chris, why don't you
Great.
come on in? And we're going to get y'all. Hey, we doing this live. We ain't editing nothing. We doing it all on the set. We thugging over here, man. Come on, Chris. Get a seat, man. Pull the other chair up for him. And Chris a big dude, man. Like, it's all right, though. You
Which
a
way?
big dude. Come on over.
Do I need to slide over your way? Yeah. Okay. Got it.
I ain't going to bite you, Miss Kathy. It's
That's
okay.
all right.
You can edit this out,
Nothing
Kat.
wrong with a bite.
No, we ain't gonna.
better
We
not.
don't. It's not authentic if we edit out us bringing you in and
Like I
changing
know.
it.
You
Oh, you
better
don't have the
not.
other mic. What happened to the other mic, Travis?
Right here.
Okay, you don't edit none of this out. Let people see what happened behind the scenes.
The
This how
transition.
ghetto shit is right here, right?
The transition.
He just brings the
This is
mic
good.
over.
This is
You know what I
good.
mean? Just
Hand
reach
it
it
out.
over the screen.
That's what we do.
Man, how does this work?
How does it work?
Yeah, let's get it.
You kind of bring it over and you talking to it. It's a new
You a
creation.
politician, man. You should be used to this. Man.
Yeah,
Come on
yeah.
now. Come on now.
You're a lobbyist, politician. So we're gonna bring my guy Chris Watson on to the show, man. Thank you for coming out, Chris.
Thank
Let
you,
me
man.
tell y'all, look, Chris and I have been friends for about 20 years now, and Chris just ran for judge, and the great thing about life insurance, unlike donating to a campaign, he didn't win, and I'm mad at him. And y'all, I'm mad at everybody else because he should have won. Y'all didn't support my man over here in his run for judge. But we bringing Chris on to talk about life insurance as an investment vehicle. And as I said, I didn't get my campaign contribution back.
You didn't get your campaign contribution
Back.
I didn't get it back.
Oh, you want the
So
money
that's
back?
like a term
Wow.
life insurance policy. That's like a term life insurance policy. It's just gone.
All right.
All right.
Our producer's off the chain right now. He has been so animated today. How you doing,
Man.
Lonnie? What's going on, brother? You all right?
You're doing all the countdowns and everything.
That little
bringing
conversation you
in
heard over here, that was him talking in the background. Our producer.
Is it?
Oh, I'm tight enough.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
very
it.
good.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chris, how we going to, where the money reside?
Yeah.
Well, let me give you some background. I'm a little different than Kathy in that I work with the law firm where we do asset protection.
Okay.
So our main focus is asset protection, protecting your money from liabilities, from investment downturns, and from taxes. And so our primary thing is setting up trusts and estate plans to do all that.
Okay.
Right. One of the tools that we use in asset protection is life insurance. And I like to say that some agents sell death insurance, which means that all the benefits that you have by paying a life insurance policy come at your death, where you get the beneficiaries get the benefit amount and the payout at your death.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we use it for life, so we call it life insurance because all the benefits that we set the policy up for is for the life benefits while you're alive. One of those benefits is actually double leveraging your money. Now, a lot of things I'm gonna say that a lot of insurance agents don't even know because they're based on the laws of the IRS code and the insurance code, which in the tax code. So one of the things is when you buy what's called an index universal life policy, they give you, once you get the policy, they give you a base premium, that to keep the policy in force that you pay monthly every month. But in that same contract, they give you what's called a maximum premium, which is as the most money you can put into a contract. Now, with that being said, let me say this. When you put premiums into an index universal life policy, those premiums grow at a compounded interest rate based on the indexes. One of the indexes, whether it's the Dow Jones or the S&P,
Okay.
based on index. So, for instance, if I put in $100,000 into a policy, that $100,000 will grow compounded at that rate that the S&P. So if the S&P grows at 6%, I get a credit on that policy in that 6%, and that 6% in any other investment that you have, if you have any other investments, whether it be stocks or whatever, when that 6% grows, it's called capital gains, and you pay taxes on those capital gains. And in life insurance policy, it's not capital gains. So that policy grows. So let me take a step back. Inside a policy, you have what's called the death benefit, and you have what's called the cash value.
Okay.
Right? The cash value is what is actually available to you immediately after you put money into a policy. For example, let's take two people. You have $1 million policy. Dre has $1 million policy.
Okay.
Both the policy says that it's going to cost you $500, but tells both of you it's going to cost you $500 a month to maintain that policy. You put $500 a month into the policy. that policy, that money goes towards your cash value in your policy. So what that means is when you put that $500 a month, at the end of the year you have $6,000. That $6,000, you can use that $6,000 to invest anything you in any other investment, but the money stays in the policy like you never touched it. So you're double leveraging the money. Does that make sense? So now, with that being said, you put $6,000 a year into the policy, you get credited an amount based on the S&P.
Okay.
Let's for round numbers, let's say 10%.
Okay.
So at the end of the year, you get credited $600, right? Mm-hmm. That $6,600 is in what's called your cash value, right?
Okay.
The insurance company, when you put that in your cash value, that cash value is basically a line of credit from the insurance company, right? So now you've put $6,000 in premium into your policy. You earn $600 at the end of that year. You have $6,600 in your premium. The insurance company from over here says, okay, you have $6,600 in your premium. You have a $6,600 that we will give you as a cash value right now that you can use out of our account. But your $6,000 over here in your premiums is still growing at a compounded interest rate. Is now.
Hold on, man. Dre look confused. I don't like him saying.
I mean, because
I want you to ask your question. I know when you're not there.
Well, I'm saying I'm there because I'm like confused as to the point like they're taking. I'm using my $6,000 plus they keeping my $6,000 in the account.
Yeah. So
that's the part I'm a little confused on.
Okay,
like where's the other $6,000 coming from?
Okay, so the way the laws are set up, a insurance company, right, has an insurance company has to have on hand the cash to pay out every person that they insured. You have $1 million policy with them, they have to have $1 million cash on hand to pay you out, right? And all of their other insured, they have to have $1 million cash to pay that out, right? And the government says that they cannot put that money into the market, because if the market goes down, they can't invest that money, because if the market goes down, then they can't pay you out if you have a claim, if everybody has a claim at the same time. So they have to say solvent. Okay? So when you put your $500 in there, they automatically did a contract with you to pay you $1 million at your death. So now they got to put $1 million to the side, and even though you only put $500 in at this point, they got to put $1 million to the side just in case you pass away the next month. Right. And they got to pay, and they have to have that on hand for every person that they insured.
Okay.
The government also says that they can't take that money that they have to pay you out and put it in the market, like I just said, because they can't pay you out, right? But here's what they can do. They said, well, since you have $1 million to pay Dre out right now, what you can do is loan Dre that money, loan Dre money at a certain percentage rate, and you can make money on that, because if you loan Dre $100,000 at his death, you only owe him $900,000 if he doesn't pay it out.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
So with that being said, they can loan you money out of your death benefit before you even pass away.
So I got a question: how long you have to have this policy before you can start taking money out?
Bam, that's a good question. Remember I said that he has $100 million policy, you have $1 million policy. Both of you cost you $500 to keep the policy going. Well, in that same contract, they have what's called a MEC limit, which is called a modified endowment contract limit. They say you can put $500 in, or you can put $10,000 in, right? Up to $10,000 without being taxed, without being taxed on the growth. So he puts $500 in a month. At the end of the year, he has $6,000. You put $10,000 a month. At the end of the year, you have $120,000, and they credit you both 10%. Who made the most money?
He did. Oh, I did?
You did.
Okay.
Because
But
you
they
put
couldn't go-
$120,000.
Oh, because I get 10% of the money that I put in.
Exactly.
Ah, okay, I got you.
Right?
Got you.
Now that you have that well, let's say this. In the first month, you put $10,000 in. He put $500 in.
Mhm.
The government has said, and we can let me know if I'm confusing you, but if the government has said that one, you can loan your insured a percentage of the money that they've already put in, as long as certain things are met, which is called the cost of insurance, and as long as the cost of insurance is met for that month.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So now you put $10,000 in that month. 5 days later, they will loan you $8,000 on the $10,000 you put in.
Mm.
Right?
Right.
Now you have $10,000 over here. They will loan you $8,000. Right?
Is that just 80%? Is that where you got that
80%.
number from?
That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. They'll loan you 80% of that. 80% loan to value. Right? You can take that $8,000, put it in any investment you want to put it in. Right? They put a lien on your death benefit. Right? So now they're gonna pay you your death if you pass away. They're gonna pay your death benefit minus the $8,000.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
And then you take the $8,000 and put it in an investment. Let's say it's a real estate investment. When you put it into a real estate investment, it grows at 20% or whatever. But your $8,000 that you put into your premium is still sitting over here, and they don't care if you don't pay it back
Because it's like you
because it's
taking your own
already it's already in your death benefit. So it's like a non-recourse loan.
Right.
Now that loan costs you. They say they're gonna loan you that loan at 3%, the prime rate. Let's say the prime rate is 4%, right? But remember, over here they're crediting you the rate of the market. So if the rate of the market is 12%, you still making 9% on your money.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Make a lot of sense, but it's like a lot of numbers.
It's like well,
No, I
That's a
get
lot
it.
of numbers.
An illustration is better.
Right.
I see it.
Even without the illustration, what I just saw, like, I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can realize when it comes to numbers, that's my game, right? You start talking numbers, I get excited.
Yeah, but do you think they do this just to pull the wool over our head because they know most people ain't doing this kind of research?
Well, the thing is that there are a couple of things. One is when you use a life insurance policy in this manner, it's more like an investment vehicle, and the government doesn't want it to be an investment vehicle because this is untaxed money.
That's
Your
the
money
beauty
is
of it
growing
right
at
there.
untaxed.
But it sounds like common practice, though.
Well, it's common practice among people who know.
Okay.
You understand? So among wealthy people, because listen to what I said. If you can put a maximum of $10,000 into the policy, right? But most people only do their minimum into the policy. If you put the maximum in there, you still have access to the money at 80%, right? But people can't grasp that because they feel like I'm paying for a policy when the policy can be paying for you.
Right.
For example, the best way is to do it as an example. I have a client who he makes $60,000 a year,
Okay.
$5,000 a month, right? What he does is when the money comes, let's start with this. When the money comes, when you get paid and money comes to your account, in your bank account,
Okay.
what do you do with it? You pay your bills.
Mhm.
Once you pay your bills, the money's gone. It's not working for you, right? You paid your bills, the money's gone.
Mm-hmm.
What that's called we call it the workflow. You pay your bills, and you might be able to save something, right? Save a little something.
Right.
Well, what we do now is we take the money, move it into an insurance policy, lock the money into an insurance policy that's going to grow from 7 to 12% per year, then pull it out of the insurance policy and then pay your bills. Now, or take the loan from the insurance company, rather, and then pay your bills. Now that same money that came in is locked in your policy, right?
But hold on, because so is it locked in at 100% or 80%?
It's locked in the first, and we'll go to this in a second. But in the first 7 years, it's locked in at 80%. You can borrow out 80% of that money you put in, right? Okay. So my client put in $5,000. He pulls out immediately $4,000 and pays his bills. Saves $1,000 into the policy.
Okay.
Right? As he does that, the money compound grows that he's putting in there. It's compounding so much that in 15 years, and I'll tell you this, we'll go deep in a second, but in 15 years, that policy will pay him out tax-free $150,000 a month for the rest of his life that he cannot live.
In 15 years.
In 15 years. A year.
At putting $5,000 of money in?
$12,500 a month. I count real well.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, what you just said, right? And it's a quote by Tony Robbins that I kind of live by, and I get it. He said most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. 15 years seems like an eternity, right? To a lot of people. But if you keep waking up, it's coming.
That's right.
So it's a matter of being prepared today. I'm kind of guilty because I just told you on the last thing, and your ass been gone. Well, excuse me, we can be a professional. You've been out of the. But I specifically told you. I said, Chris, I'm finna get a free 150. I'm gonna run it through there, and I didn't do it. And it's little mistakes. I won't say mistakes. It's things like that when we don't take action on our future, it hurts us in the future. So I just wanted to throw that in, man. Because
and the reason I say it because you're double leveraging your money. You're double leveraging your money. You're putting money in a savings account, and you're using those same dollars to invest, right? And when you use those same dollars to invest, what happens next? If you put $5,000, I know $5,000 you have lunch for $5,000, but if you put $5,000, you put
whoa, now that explains some stuff.
But you put $5,000 into a policy, and I'm gonna show you this is how generational wealth is done. When you put that $5,000 into a policy, that policy is, let's say, $3 million on death benefit. Okay. When you put that $5,000 into a policy and you pull the money back out to pay your bills, what bills would you pay? You pay your mortgage, you pay your car note, you pay your credit cards, right?
Okay.
Well, one of those bills should be another policy on your spouse or your kids.
Please
right?
Continue.
Now you've taken the same dollars that you put into one policy, and now you're paying for another policy or another 2 or 3 policies, and they all have death benefits.
Sound like you just did some slick shit, Chris. I'm with it. I'm just saying. I'm with it now.
Now you've paid completely legal. Okay. So now you've paid the same. Now you paid 3 or 4 policies, right? With $1,
and all this is legal.
And all it's legal. And now you take those policies and you put them into a trust. Right?
Okay.
And the trust owns the policies. And then you tell your trust to buy policies on the next generation of kids from here on out. Now, when one person passes, let's say it's you, passes.
Well, I got it, Doc.
I don't know what I'm saying. One person passes now.
Let's just
now
say
$3 million goes into the trust. And with that $3 million, the trust is instructed to buy policies on the next generation as soon as they're born. You can buy a policy on somebody at 9 days old.
Right, on your behalf.
14.
This is called the Rockefeller.
9. So usually it's about 14 days.
You know what's crazy is because like I'm familiar, and I always say, I tell people all the time, knowledge is not power if it's information. It's only the application of it. I'm familiar, and I'm still not here. So I really gotta do a better job. And I think you use the $60,000, which I think is a good number to use. I think that's kind of an average salary. That people don't. That people could actually exercise.
Average,
but here's the thing:
60,000 is not average.
Yeah,
That's definitely above average.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Okay.
With that $60,000 and him moving money into the policy, he is able to move enough money into the policy and still pay his bills, so that the policy not only pays him $150,000 a year for the rest of his life, but he also has a cash value that he can tap at that 15th year, he'll be able to pull out $150,000 plus he'll have a cash value of $200,000. Plus he'll have the death benefit of $2 million.
This is most excited I didn't seen you in a while.
So because
we talking his language.
but that's the way it works. And there's a book out that people need to get called "What Would the Rockefellers Do?"
Yes. Yes.
Now, What Would the Rockefellers Do is a book that that puts life insurance. Yeah, they already did. It puts life insurance and trust in tandem, and that's what we do at the law firm. We put life insurance and trust at tandem. If most people look at a trust like, I got $1 million, I want to put it in a trust and dole it out to my kin or my child at a certain point, but the trust never grows. Right? Rockefellers make the trust that grows, and the way it grows is that it keeps buying policies. It keeps buying policies on the next generation, on the next kids. And so as people matriculate through the generations, the trust keeps getting
so back up, man.
So this sounds like a lot of lawyer fees putting this dollar structure together.
No, it's on the front end, it's about setting up a trust.
Okay.
And it's about buying life.
Because we hear these terms all the time, trust and this stuff like that. But
right.
I mean, like I said, the average, I mean, I don't say average, I don't want to put no statistics on it, but people like myself, just uneducated about these things. We hear about it, but we don't know how to access and get these things done.
I mean, the best way to do it, of course, is to go to a lawyer. But, I mean, when we talk about lawyer's fees, we're talking about between $2,500 and $5,000 to set up a trust.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. It is. But at the same time, if you don't fund the trust, you fund the trust with life insurance.
Okay.
And when you fund the trust with life insurance, it grows just like that.
You know what you just said though, right? $2,500, $5,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to agree with you, right? Even though I know.
Well, I'm speaking on most of us.
But let me show you this, because this is some. Right now, my wife done got me into all these tax offices. Do you realize though, when I'm looking at, because I'm getting an opportunity, I already look, how many people get 8, 10, 12, 13,000? That's actually really poor people. That's getting these returns every. And I'm thinking to myself as you saying this, even though you saying it with a bigger number, just say a $100,000 policy that could be funded with $200 a month. So I would think $250 a month. Okay, does that sound okay? $250 a month. $250 a month is $3,000 a year. Yeah. Okay, so what you just told me, my brain is working, saying somebody could take their income tax every year and fund their policy.
Hello.
Absolutely.
Facts.
And here's the thing:
and fund their trust.
They can they can fund the policy and still use the money. They can fund it. They can fund the policy and still use the money.
Right.
You put $10,000 into the policy, the insurance company gives you a line of credit for $10,000.
I'm gonna go talk to some of the homies about this that don't know no better. Man, I ain't. Hey, man, you got them white folk trying to trick me. Man.
But
it's all in that book. What would the Rockefellers do? It's a short, easy book. It's easy to read.
I'm about to check that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get it tomorrow.
Put your pen and your highlighter close by, because you're gonna want to underline some things and make some notes in the sideline.
Okay. You know the first time I heard of an IUL? When they were breaking down Jim Harbaugh's contract and how he was being paid. Yeah. That was the first time I actually ever heard of it. When they were paying him, when Michigan paid him this money, and and it was I don't know if it was a sports analyst, but the guy was like, they really didn't do nothing. They really paid the guy nothing. They have the benefits. Right. They're the benefits of it, and I'm like,
no,
well, damn, what you mean they ain't do nothing?
No, the key around. What do you say, Lonnie?
Talk about that.
No, well, the key around that is Jim Harbaugh. They're gonna pay him $9 million a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, don't pay me $9 million a year. Pay me $7 million and loan me $2 million. Okay, so he cut his tax bill by $2 million, and they're gonna and $2 million is a loan from Michigan. He takes that $2 million and he buries it in a life insurance policy. As soon as he buries it into a life insurance policy, he actually still has access to that $2 million from the general fund of the line of credit from the insurance company. Okay? But that $2 million starts to compound at between 7 and 12% interest every year. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That $2 million policy, that $2 million that he puts into the policy on an annual basis bought him a $70 million death benefit. Okay? And it also built him a cash value of, in the first 7 years, it builds him a cash value of 80% of that $2 million. Okay, so he can pull out 80% of that $2 million every year,
1.6
tax free. He can pull out that 1.6 tax free every year for the first 7 years. Right? At the 7-year point, here's where it get real cold. At 7 years, they loaned him $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
At 7 years, that's $14 million, right?
Right.
At 7 years, now there's no cap as to how much money he can put into the policy. Right? There used to be a cap at first, for the first 7 years because of the IRS guidelines, because he didn't want it to become a taxable event. But after 7 years, there's no cap. He can bear as much money into that policy as he wants. Now he pulls that, when that money at a certain point, when he's bearing money into that policy, at a certain point, that insurance company is going to pay him $3 to $4 million a year for the rest of his life that he cannot live. 1. 2, when he passes away, Michigan get the whole $14 million back out of the $70 million death benefit.
Because they're the beneficiary?
Because that's the deal he made, that you can get as part of as being part of the beneficiaries, you can get that $14 million plus interest back to the university based on my loan.
Right, because his loan has propped up the policy to the point he don't care.
Right. The growth, the compounded growth of the policy will pay him out $3 or $4 million a year for the rest of his life.
And that's his way of giving back to Michigan.
Tax free. Tax free. $3 or $4 million a year, tax free, for the rest of his life. And he has a cash value in the millions that he can tap at any time.
But see, this is the key to this, and I'm glad you guys are here, because it's one of my other sayings. There's 3 things in life, period. I don't care what situation you look at it on. You don't know, you're unwilling, or you're unable. Once you know, you're unwilling. Because most of us are unwilling to do what it takes, even when we're given the information, including me. Yeah, I'm guilty.
Which is about to change,
right? You know what I mean. So I think when you guys have our podcast and we giving all this game like this, man, take advantage of it. Don't be somebody that sit around and just say I'm listening and don't do nothing. And I'm really talking to me, because I actually listen back to these podcasts, so I'm really talking to myself. So I remind myself to take action. And I think this is something that happens with, whether it be, I won't even say white people. I think people, because I think we're in a more of a class society than a racist society. There's a matter of classes, in my opinions, right now. you know, people that are you know, knowledgeable and aware of what's going on. You know, this is why the wealth gap is consistently growing further and further apart. You know, because, you know, if you know, you know. And if the people that know that are willing are going to always beat out the people that are unwilling. And I made a quick comment about saying that somebody that's living in a state of poverty, if you're getting that 10, 12, 13, 14 grand back every year, you can start just off your income tax check. You really can.
When we talk about, I know we're talking about numbers, big numbers. When we can bring that down, to Dre's point, we can bring that down to small.
Don't say Dre point.
Well,
Don't do that.
Dre had a great point. We can
But
definitely do that.
but here's the thing.
Dre ballin'. Don't
we
get
can
it twisted.
we can bring that down to, let's say,
Not with life insurance though.
Yeah. But you know, we can bring that down, like I said, to, let's say, somebody that made $2,000 a month.
There you go.
Right? Whatever, man.
Talking my language.
Whatever, man. So you bring it down to $2,000 a month. Somebody buys a policy that the premium is, let's say, $200 a month. Right?
Okay.
If they pay that $200 a month every month, they have I call it a death policy, because all the benefits come at death when it comes to the beneficiary. Right? But in that same policy, the fine print says you can put up to $1,000 a month in this policy. And when you put $1,000 a month into this policy, we'll give you a line of credit for up to 80% of it that you can use like immediately, right? And when you put that $1,000 into the policy, the compounded interest grows that much faster. Not only can you put $1,000 into the policy, but now you have a $500,000 death benefit, right? And and you have, at a certain point, you have to do illustrations, and we have to do illustrations to let people know, but at a certain point, you have a cash value that you can use. Compounded interest is like, they call it the eighth wonder of the world, because that $1,000 or that $12,000 that you lock into the policy that you're still using to pay your bills is growing at a compounded interest rate that will give you a cash value that you can use, one, for investment while it's still over its saving, and then two, you got $500,000 that's going to go into your beneficiaries or into a trust.
You know what?
And then that trust buys bigger policies.
That's right.
You
I
understand
got
what I
it.
mean?
So this is what we're gonna do.
That's right.
So we're gonna have to get you and Kathy at the top of the Galleria. Don't forget that part. Get y'all top of the Galleria, right? H-Town, top of the Galleria,
with the good
top
view.
floor. So we're gonna have to do is Dre, we need to put a group together to see if you guys can give us we're gonna bring you a mixture of people, you know. And let's put a group together so, you know, we can share this information and they can share that information. Each one teach one, and we can continue to pass this information out.
Absolutely.
And we want our referral fee too, though, because I know y'all got them too.
Well, you know, and a lot of things, people, a lot of
Don't
agents,
skip over that.
a lot of agents. Well, you can't say that because it's actually illegal for an insurance agent to split fees with non-insurance agents. But with that being said, a lot of agents, you would think that if I told you to put $10,000 into a policy, I make more money.
Right.
No, agents make more money on term policies,
Right.
because term policies don't pay out, so they can give them bigger. They can give them bigger commissions on that. So most agents that you're gonna run into, they want to sell your term policy.
Right.
Because they make more money on it.
We
Not
can
all
find
of
some of
us.
them too, though.
Dirty.
Not all of us.
but that's
Whatever best fits the client.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
honest Kathy.
Yes.
Oh, honest Kathy.
Oh, honest Kathy.
Honest Kathy, who was stopping the car on the side of the road. Get your ass out of here. Do
Wherever
you know what I
happens,
do?
donate to the university?
Honest Kathy. I don't want to make a bigger commission. Go ahead, man, before we wrap this up. Our producer over here has a point that he wants Chris to make, so go ahead.
What is that about the universities? Oh, yeah. Well, you know, like when big time rich people pass away and they leave $50 million to their university, or they use the $50 million to a charitable something that they do.
With our name on the building.
With their name on the building.
With our name on the building.
But that ain't. But that's not their money. Yeah. That was a policy that made the university a beneficiary. So, like T. Boone Pickens. T. Boone Pickens used to donate. Oklahoma State. He donated hundreds of billions of dollars to hundreds of millions of dollars to Oklahoma. But every time he did it, Oklahoma State. Yeah.
And they still trash. Shout out to Jaquay and Paul, man.
Hey, he brought him a long
Oklahoma
way,
State alumni, man.
He really he fixed up everything at Oklahoma
I've been on the
State.
campus of Stillwater before. Shout out to Jaquay and Paul, man.
But what he usually did was he took money from his account, put it in a trust, had the trust buy a policy on him that was worth $300 million. The trust donated money to the university, and then when he passed away, $300 million went back into his account and back into his trust. So he made $100 million by donating $200 million.
Hold on, explain that again. You lost me.
He'll put.
I'm pretty quick. I'm pretty good.
He'll if he donates $200 million to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma State.
He said, I'm gonna donate $200 million. What he does is he takes the $200 million from his account, moves it into a trust for Oklahoma State. That trust buys a policy on him based on his earning potential and his value of, let's say, $300 million. When he donates the money out of the trust to Oklahoma State, when he passes away, the $300 million policy pays off and pays his trust back.
R.I.P. T. Boone Pickens. You was tough.
You understand what I mean? So he made the $100 million by donating $200 million.
I got you. You got to tell me no more. Dre.
Yeah.
All right, we got to hold each other accountable.
Yeah. We got to make some more money, too.
Yeah, we got to make some more money. We're working on it, though.
We got to make some more money.
I think there's going to be a good year.
Man,
even though they saying it's going to be a bad year for everybody else, I think it's going to be a good year for us.
I'll take it.
So, man, we appreciate y'all coming. I think we're going to have to, put a seminar together, with 40, 50 people.
Hey, where's the nearest Chick-fil-A? Because I'm hungry.
Really?
What time is it?
The nearest Chick-fil-A.
Closed?
They
It's right down the
closed.
street.
30 minutes.
We got 30 minutes, bro. Let's wrap this up.
Are you
Right down the
serious?
street.
It's a cheat day. I ain't having a cheat day.
Listen, man, don't do what Dre just did. I'm not. You know what? I'm not going to even go off on it. We had all this great information, and you want to go to Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Really?
They believe in God, and I do too. So I think they good for me.
I don't even know what to say to this shit. Okay.
Both
So
of us?
listen, let
Chick-fil-A need that check.
Miss
too.
Kathy, tell the audience how they can reach you, and Chris to tell the audience how they can reach you. If you guys want some more information and a little bit more detail, you want some price quotes, you want to know how to get into these different investment vehicles, we're going to let them tell you how to reach them.
So to reach me, it's my cell phone is the best way to reach me. My cell phone is 832-283-4808. Call me or send me a text, either way. My email address is kvb, like King Victor Buckler, PHP, people helping people, at gmail.com. kvbphp@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram at kvbucklerofficial, kvbuckler.official. Okay,
You are
find
the
me on
first guest we have had that gave out their phone number and
And
email.
I sitting there thinking, like, man, would I ever do that? Like,
me.
Lord have mercy. I did not ever do that.
Yes.
Give out my phone.
I
number.
want you to call me. Call me. You have questions?
As a matter
call
of fact,
me.
let me give y'all Dre phone number as
Nah,
well.
you do it.
Thank you, Miss Kathy.
And there's also real quick. There's also a website for those that are interested in life insurance. There's a website called lifehappens.org.
Okay.
Lifehappens.org. It talks about little stories about people that have had incidents. Either they had life insurance and it took care of something, or they didn't have life insurance, and what the after effect was.
Okay.
Okay.
Lifehappens.org.
Correct.
.org. Chris, how can they reach you?
All right. Well, and
No
like I
phone
said,
number, probably.
No, go ahead. You give me your. I mean,
like I
it's okay.
said, we mostly deal with estate planning and trust at the Childs Law Firm. We use life insurance as tools to fund trust. We're at 281-756-7116, the Childs Law Firm. I'm an estate and trust planning specialist, and we're located in downtown Houston. ChildsLawFirm.com.
Okay. You didn't want to give them your personal cell phone?
No, they can reach me at the office.
832.
You give me a dollar.
Hey, you should have seen Dre. You should have seen the look on your face when she started giving her number. Dre said,
Yes, I will.
I was looking like,
Yes,
okay,
I
that's the first.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to give it
I
to
don't mind.
281-338-04.
Did you just hit Mike Jones' number?
Yes, I did.
Shout out to Mike Jones.
Shout
You
out
gotta
to
get
Mike,
Mike
man.
Jones
Mike
on
gotta
the-
get you
on the show, man. Golly, you still remember that.
Yeah, he just got the number back apparently.
He put an indelible impression on a lot of people with his number.
Yeah,
Man,
it was
I
a real
didn't
number
know.
actually. It was his real number.
And he got bombed with it
Yeah,
too.
it was his real number.
They called it
Yeah.
big time.
He used it for promo after a while, but it was his real number.
Wow.
It was his real number.
All right. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you guys for coming.
Appreciate y'all.
So
Thank
thanks
you.
for tuning in to the Cole and Dre podcast. Very informative. I really hope everybody takes an opportunity to check out lifehappens.org. Speak with Miss Kathy. Get with Chris over at the Childs Law Firm. And let's go get us some bread this year. I've been rich and I've been poor. I swear to God, to you, rich is better. Believe me.
Way better.
And let me put this PSA out for all those people that's lying to you when they say money don't buy you happiness. It's a damn good down payment, like Fabulous said, one. And secondly, every time I had a bunch of money, I was pretty happy. So I don't know who them people is.
Yeah, I ain't met them yet.
I don't know who they are. You know, they always, just because you got money, you're not happy. Bullshit. All right. Now, with all that being said, thank y'all for coming.
Absolutely.
And thank y'all, you guys, for tuning into the Cole and Dre podcast. I'm Cole.
And this is Dre, and
And
we out.
Peace.
Peace.
Hey. Hey, man, what time it is, man? Hey. Relentless. Hey. 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 Hey, Cole. Boss straight. 2 mother, watch them out. No count. All facts like what you talking about. Boy, listen and pay attention to what we talking about. We can